So here we are for another Board Deck and Dice first play. Today I'm looking at Firefly Adventures. I'm going to play through a scenario solo. I don't often do that, but I do like Firefly. So we have the map set up. We have our heroes. They could not be placed within 5 spaces of each other unless I wanted to have them heroically posed. So each of them have 2 figures. They can be casual or heroic, but if they're heroic, they gain the attention of the guards. These are locked doors symbols. There's some cargo, some objectives, and all the kind of goons, I think they call them, here. And the way it works is when a player takes an action, the person at the back on the top will go first. So here Malcolm will go first. All of his actions take time, and then you move his counter up on the time track, a bit like Patchwork, but a kind of more complex version, to do 2 actions. So you'll choose 2 of those, and you'll add the total on. When you get to a star, you'll roll a dice, and the event will give you a random happening, and so on and so forth. And then the goons, all the goons on this map are not in patrol mode, they're all just hanging around. So these guys won't move until they see something that attracts their attention, like a body or a member of the Firefly crew acting heroic. So I've done everything, divvied everything up. All the cards I may need are here for challenges. It is paper money, but it's very good looking paper money, dead bodies, etc, etc. I'll come back in the middle and at the end and tell you how it's going. So I'm about a quarter of the way down the time track with all my heroes. I thought this was going to be quite quick actually, because I've only got 40 minutes, in-game minutes, to do this. But it's going reasonably well. In this rundown here we have Kaylee and Zoe with a goon, but they're not heroic, so he hasn't seen them yet. Well, he hasn't seen them as a threat yet, and he's actually taken a wound from something else I did. I think a successful tech challenge it was. So yeah. Oh no, he is alert now, isn't he? Because I need to put his thing on, because he will start acting, because there is a dead body in there. Didn't see that. There's a dead body under there. Well, that's another one though. So he is going to start acting, but that's just happened, so that's no big problem. Some of the goons have moved away from the doors because of various events. Mal hasn't really done anything. He's just standing here. I'm thinking of shooting this guy in the head next time. Heroic wise, we've got good old Wash, who just shot that bodyguard, and Jane is running in from the other door. There is a door there, I hope. Yeah, he's just taken the one out on the outside in his last activation, but that took him quite far up the time track, so he's not got another one for a while. So I'm figuring he'll come in and help Wash, but Wash's heroic side lets him brawl and move, and we're just shooting with him on our first go with him, so that only took 1, and then if I manage to wound him, I'll probably run away round the corner, because he is the baddest one. In fact, I did the roll. I managed to wound him because I rolled a defensive dice, which is added to the fighting. That counts for shooting and brawling, so he has a total of 5. I rolled the Firefly symbol, which is a 6, but it also acts as a explosion dice similar to Arcadia Quest, so you get to roll another one. On my second one I rolled another 1, and then I rolled a 2, so there I've got 14 plus Wash's 1 fighting, so it's a 15 to 5, so I definitely wounded him. So I need to take a wound token, pop it on there. Not managed to explore any cargo yet, but I am heading towards that objective. Once I've got this guy out of the way, Malcolm can force open that door, and we'll see what happens and whether I get away with a clean escape. So far, very enjoyable. I like the way it works. I like the fact that these buildings come pre-built in the box, and actually the bottom of the box is also a building that you can use as a bigger building in some games. So we'll come back at the end, see how I got on. So this is the end game state for my game of Firefly Adventures, and you see quite a few people activated as heroic at the end. Generally they move around quicker. I manage the enemies quite well, so there's no real downside to being heroic. Did get quite close to the end. When I got to the objective, I found out it was a scientist that had to get off the edge of the board, which was fine, except cost 6 time for each 6 spaces he moves, so I had to clear out a couple of guys in between, at which point Wash got attacked, and of course Zoe came to rescue him. Jane ran around the board like a maniac, just shooting at people, and was quite successful apart from his last effort, which was quite a long range shot, but he rolled 2 of the disgruntled faces and no fireflies, so that got cancelled out. Yeah, I really liked the game. It did feel like a heist from Fireflies. Things happened that I would expect to happen on a show. Kind of managed all right until we revealed the objective, and then everything went to pot. The components are good. These things move around a little bit, but they're better than having to imagine it's a room or not having walls at all. And I'm on a wonky table, so there is that. I like the whole heroic relaxed system. I like the way the goons can be a general thug on the one side, or have specific attributes as well. I think I probably got a few rules wrong. It was my first play. I attempted all 5 good characters, and there was quite a lot to take in. I will say the rule book isn't the best in terms of layout. I don't think it doesn't make sense the way it's laid out to me. There's an awful lot of cards and tokens, but there are only 4 of these scenarios in the base game. They will be, to some degree, slightly different each time, depending on who you take with you, whether you play with individual goons or general goons, and you roll a dice to see certain things that happen, like the events on the time track and objectives, things like that. But yeah, I think it will be really good with multiple players having to make decisions. I'm sure we'll all fight over who is Jane, who gets to run around like a maniac shooting at people. But yeah, a promising first play. I'd like to play it with more players. There's also a mode, it's basically a co-op, but they do give you some options for one person to control the goons should they wish. So that was Firefly Adventures, first play as a solo.